Hello everyone and welcome back to APPF1 Tier 2. We're here for round number 3 of this 9-round championship, reduced from 10 due to the release of the new game. But we are here for this round here in Austria. What a circuit, what a race we have in prospect potentially. We are back, Avenir, we are back. Thank you for joining us in the chat. We have 19 cars on the grid. The tier 2 attendance is you look at the tier 1 and elite attendance, and you have 17, 18 drivers who've signed up, and then only 12 of them actually turn up each week. Tier 2 is a full grid of sign-ups, and almost everyone turns up every single week. It's absolutely phenomenal. I love tier 2. Gary comes through turn 1, meanwhile, to take us around the first lap of Austria, down towards turn 2, and then, of course, turn 3, which is the actual corner. Down the gears he goes, hits the apex nicely into second gear, and just to get the turn in, and gets on the power nicely on the exit. Now, all the way down towards turn 4. Brakes nicely just past the 100-meter board, maybe a tiny bit wide of the apex, but pretty much bang on from Gary. He'll be happy with that. He wouldn't have been happy with his turn 1, I don't think, but the rest of the lap's been okay so far. A little wide there, but a few corners to go for Gary. Very, very wide at turn number 7. He won't be happy with that at all. Down towards turn 9 and turn 10 to close us out. 9 so fast through turn 9. It usually should be flat in quali, really, if you're brave enough. Turn 10 gets a little off of the rear tyres, and he goes across the line for 104.8. I think that will be swiftly beaten. Kurt goes with a 105.6 in the meantime, 105.4 in the meantime, excuse me. As plenty others come across the line, but it looks like a lot of invalidation as to start us off. What about Jackalacco? Season 10 champion comes across the line for 104.8, just beats Gary by half a tenth. But plenty more laps to come across the line, including this man, Trikubadayak, who misses out by 13 thousandths of a second. But we are expecting pole position today to be in the low 1-minute 4s, potentially into the 1-minute 3s. That's a bit more like it. Enchilada at a 104.4 from the defending champion, who took an emphatic win last time out in Imola. He goes to the top of the timing sheets. Rubialski down in P7 for now, as Extrek on an outlap, the 2-time champion of Tier 2, missing out by 1 point to make it 3 in a row last season. He's is also 1 point behind at this point going into this race, as he heads into turn 1 now. The Norwegian driver has really established himself as the man to beat recently. Robsu goes to P8 in the meantime, as plenty of others come across the line. JB comes across to start his run, as Lawrence comes through. What's it going to be for this 2-time Tier 2 champion? He's up to P5, as we head back on board with Extract to see how he's doing. Sector 1 is 16.1, which is just one corner, of course. And into the middle sector he goes. It's because Tier 2 is fun and far less pressure, so it makes us want to turn up as much as possible. Gosh, I wish that was always true for Tier 2. That's only been true in the last couple seasons, Avenir. It's, Tier 2's historically been the division with the most attendance struggles, so it's nice to see a role reversal. It is frustrating as a Tier 1 and elite driver myself, but it's fantastic as a Tier 2 commentator. Extract goes to P2, a tenth and a half behind Enchilada. That lap looking very strong from the Ferrari driver for now. JB is bailing. He's not happy with that run at all, and he's in fact heading straight back to the pits, so JB not happy in the slightest on that set of tyres. Wants to get some fresh ones on, as it looks like most people are heading into the pit lane. Robsu's going for another lap though on his older tyres, as is Rubialski. He's only half a tenth down. He's a Tier 1 driver, Rubialski, but he's turned off, well, I'm not sure if he's turned it off entirely, but he's certainly reduced the amount of traction control he usually uses so that he can race in Tier 2 today. as he has a big moment there through turn 7. Yeah, turn 6. You can really tell he's not used to this level of traction control. But down to the last few corners for the British driver. As he heads through, he's been so close to Tier 1 podiums on numerous occasions in that division on Fridays. And it's good to see him expanding his horizons a bit, going for less assists, having a go in Tier 2 as a result. And there's certainly a good way to improve, that is for sure. Kurt has invalidated his run. What about Aces? He's just starting a lap, as is Denko coming to the end of one. Aces, though, actually wasn't starting a lap. He was coming across the line, and he goes onto the front row, just 300ths of a second behind Enchiladadad. There were predictions that pole position in Tier 2 would be into the 1 minute 3s, so we're still a long way off that as Denko goes to P12, a 105.1 from the Greek driver, a long way off. Well, he was right towards the front at the beginning of last season. It looked like he would be one of the drivers fighting for the title, but he switched rig. He got a new rig, and ever since then, he's just been struggling to get used to it, and he's hasn't from before that yet. Jackalacco already invalidates out of turn 1, so he's going to have to let Triku go by. He's heading through Sector 1. Did he get turn 1 any better? No, 300ths down, but that can be made up on the rest of the circuit. It's so hard, this circuit, to hook up a lap. There may be very few corners, but it just means there's so much less room for error. As Gary comes to the final corner, again losing the rears, is the Kick Sauber driver as he heads across the line for P4. He's been very strong in qualifying this season, has Gary. But his race pace has somewhat been lacking at times, so we'll see what he can do today. Alex G has gone to P9 in the meantime as Cavalis, another driver who's been improving at a rapid rate, goes into the top 5 with a 1 minute 4.7 for now. His teammate Triku coming through as well. Is there an improvement from the other Williams? Yes, and he just about beats his teammate. The two Williams drivers flying very high so far this season. They had a bit of a poor showing in Imola in the race, but their qualifying was excellent yet again. So we'll see what they can do. Newbie Jacked Daniels, which by the way is an absolutely phenomenal username. That definitely wins username of the season so far. Jacked Daniels is fantastic. He goes to P7 though, the new driver in the Ferrari. Might be getting a permanent seat as soon as someone has to give up their seat due to lack of attendance, but for now he's just a reserve. He goes to P7 as JB behind him, just by 100th of a second on that run that he just did. Sumo Gilligan, quite a long way down, is the championship leader at the moment. He's going to have to fight back to get himself further up the grid here. Lawrence goes to P7 in the meantime, so Sumo needs a big lap. With 8.5 minutes to go in the session, he'll find the time runs out relatively quickly, as Pimenta, by the way, has gone to P18. Sumo, half a tenth up in the first sector. He'll be very happy with that turn 1. As now to the difficult middle sector to hook up perfectly. He comes through using that hot lap mode, down the gears, a little wide of the apex at turn 4, but nicely dealt with as he heads into turns 6 here, and then 7 the next one. Maybe a little wide at 6, but not too bad. He's 2.5 tenths up. This is so much better from Sumo. He's looking to get himself onto the front row here with Enchilada and Aces, maybe onto pole position if he can nail these last 2 corners. He's got a car ahead of him who hopefully doesn't block his lap. It's a V-Carb who's just starting a lap, but I think he's gotten away with it. He's going to get a nice tow, in fact, up to the line, and it's not quite enough in the end, though, for the front row. He goes to P3, does the championship leader, but crucially ahead of Extrarec. So we'll see if that stays that way. Of course, Extrarec's going to be his main target to beat, I think, today. Avenir comes across on the mediums for P19, 1.7 seconds off the pace. As that's good to see. Newbie Pimenta, who I believe that is Rafa Physiotherapia, if I'm not mistaken. I think so. I think that's Rafa. Well, he was known as Rafa Physiotherapia last week. So it's good to see him a little more on the pace in qualifying today, because he was quite a little way off last week. Along with his teammate BNI Cleo, who's unfortunately unable to make it today. He heads through the final corner, and he is absolutely sending it to start his next run on those same set of tyres. Enchilada not improving the championship, or not the championship leader, the defending champion, into the pits he goes. Ace is invalidated as well. Xtrek has not. So let's see what the two-time champ can do. He's heading to the last couple of corners now. He's no stranger to pole positions in Tier 2. After the last couple seasons, he comes through the final corner. This is looking very strong. It is, but it's only by 0.004 of a second that he takes it. It's so close at the front. But it's Xtrek who's on pole position right now, and he's put the pressure on those drivers behind to just find those extra few hundredths of a second. We usually talk about extra few tenths, but here it's hundredths for sure, as Kurt goes into B7. A nice effort from the VCARB driver, the newbie to this season, as Jack Alaco now beats everyone to take pole position for himself. A 104.3, the first into the 0.3s, as he narrowly beats Xtrek by less than half a tenth of a second. It is less than a tenth between the top four right now, and Sumo not far behind either. A bit of a gap to Gary and the rest after that, so it's very much the top five in contention at the moment. But can anyone find a huge amount of time here and find the lap of dreams around here in Austria, as Aces versus Kings does a 104.381 as well. He matches Jacko's time to the thousandth, but he goes to P2. Jacko set the time first. I still don't know if the game does it like that, because it didn't used to. I don't know if they fixed that and it does do that now. But anyway, Aces onto the front row, but he'll be gutted to see that. Just missing out by 1,000th of a second practically. Scott as well, all the way down in 17th. That is a shock. So we'll see what he can do to improve. Rubialski also improving at the moment in his VCARB. We'll see what he can do as he heads to the last couple of corners. He's down in 15th, but less than half a second off pole, and that is a real shame. He invalidates, unfortunately, out the penultimate corner, and Scott also comes in not happy with his run. So 4.5 minutes to go, and a lot of people heading into the pits not happy with their runs. It is looking mighty close out there though. Look at these times. Jack Daniels goes to P6 as well in his Ferrari. So it's really hotting up now, this qualifying session, with just 4 minutes to go. We can get one more run from every driver in theory. Let's see if anyone can deliver. Avenir, one of the drivers looking to improve. He is heading through Sector 2 right now. Through turn 6. What's it going to be on the sector split? He is 9 tenths up, so a huge improvement for Avenir coming in. It should only get him ahead of Pimento unless he can find even more time in this final sector. But remember, he did his first lap on mediums, so he's expected to get a big improvement here. Now he's onto the softs. A tiny correction, did you see that? He saw he was going to turn in too early there, and he just corrected very slightly to make sure he didn't invalidate on the inside curb, and he goes to P18 just ahead of rookie driver Pimento, who's improving himself in that Red Bull, by the way. He's a 10.5 up in Sector 1. So Avenir and Pimento dueling for that 18th spot at the moment. Triku on a lap, but is he improving? Not really. He's 300ths down in the middle sector. Kurt not improving either, and he's still on the same set of tyres, so he's not actually going to get time, I don't think, to set a proper lap time on non-worn tyres. So an odd decision from Kurt to stay out there. Triku's into the pits. He's not happy, so he will just about have time. It'll be very, Very, very close, but he should get a lap in, I think. He'll have to be very quick in the pits, though, to change his tyres, as is Kurt improving. He's 2 tenths up on those tyres, to be fair, Kurt. So we'll see what he can do. He's obviously stayed out because he wasn't happy with that turn 1, and we can see why. He's coming into the middle sector now, though, and this is where those worn tyres are going to cost him. He was a little correction through there, and yeah, that's lap over. So I'm surprised he didn't go onto a fresh set of tyres. JB is just less than 600ths of a second from pole position, but he is in 5th place. That is how close this session is. Sumo needs to find a time. He's down in 6th, and the way everyone is improving at the moment, he could drop further if he can't find an improvement out there. Championship leader under pressure. Aces, is he on a good lap? Well, he's certainly on a lap. We'll find out if it's a good one as he comes through the Sector 2 line, but there's a few corners left before we reach that point. Alex G coming through, invalidates at the final corner. What would the time have been? A 104.9. It would only have been a 2,000th of a second improvement anyway. Scott's improving, though. What can this be from the Aston Martin driver? He's up to P8. And he'll be a lot happier with that, but it's so close. Starting his final run. X-Track as well. Ace is coming through, not improving, but he's going to get one more attempt on those tyres. Jacko, our current pole sitter, also going for his final run. So here we go. Last runs coming in. Lawrence heading through the first sector as well. Denko IGP not improving in that Mercedes for now. So he's going to stay all the way down there in 15th by the looks of things. Rubialski is going to get one more go at it, as is Pimenta. But who's going to be first across the line out of these guys? I'm not sure. I think it's going to be... I'm not sure. It's Sumo. He comes out the final corner. It's a huge lap time from Sumo. Is it enough for pole? It is! By just 12 thousandths of a second. A 104.369. Can anyone respond to the championship leader at this late stage on these final runs? Could it be the defending champion, Enchiladadad, race winner from last week? He heads through the final corner, giving it absolutely everything across the line, and it's enough to take pole by well over a tenth and a half. What a lap from him. X-Track's only P2. Ench has got it with a 104.2 at the moment. Aces, though, he's got 2 corners to go. No improvement from Jackalacco, so it's down to the Alpine driver. What can he do across the line? It's not enough. He doesn't improve, and he stays P5. Jack Daniels coming through as well. Maybe he can do something. Cavalis, he's showing improvement as well, but he's lost some time in the middle sector. He's only a 10th up, so it's only going to be enough to get him up a few positions. Rubialski goes to P3 right at the end of the session as well. Here comes Cavalis through the final couple of corners. Robsu's only enough for P12. Denko gets him in front of him for P12 himself. Here comes Cavalis. What can he do from Lithuania? No, he's down in 16th. It's a disastrous day for Williams in the end. They are 14th and 16th, despite being so close to the rest of the pace. Alex G doing some lawn mowing in the meantime as Pimenta and Avenir finish their duel, with Pimenta being the winner out of those two. He gets P18. But neither of them are particularly far off the pace. I mean, they are in terms of qualifying, but it'll be enough to stay in a DRS train, you would have thought. But it is Enchiladadad who, with an outstanding lap right at the end of the session, takes an emphatic pole position here in Austria. It is 2 in a row for the defending champ, and after the absolute disaster that was Monza, it looks like the Irishman is well and truly back. And hello to Lucas in the chat. Good to see you. So after a thrilling, absolutely thrilling qualifying session, it is Enchiladadad who takes pole position here in Austria by over a tenth of a second. What a lap that was, with Extrek in P2. Rubialski lines up third for his first Tier 2 race, with Sumo Championship leader down in fourth. Jackalacco and Aces make up row 3, with JB and newbie Jack Daniels in P8. What a great name. Lawrence and Scott, the rest of the top 10, with Gary, Denko, Robsu, Triku, Kurt and Cavalis. Triku and Cavalis way down. Alex, Pimenta and Avenir Sinha Roy, the last of the finishers, or the qualifiers, in that session. Lucas Rowe reckons his former teammate Triku is going to have insane race pace in the chat. Well, we'll find out, but it's very hard to make up positions here in Austria. The DRS train can be very, very big, but 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we're underway for the Austrian Grand Prix in Tier 2. It's a good getaway for both the top two, but Enchilada is ahead into turn 1. He should keep the lead. It's nearly 3 wide further down. Aces under pressure from JB, who sweeps around the outside of turn 1. What an overtake from the McLaren up to P6. We've got Lawrence trying to make moves as well on Jack Daniels as they head all the way down to turn 3. It's 3 wide further back. Robsu, Scott, and I think that was Denko as well, as Rubialski now making moves on the two-time champion, getting up to P2 ahead of Extrek down towards turn 4. The Norwegian looking for a move up the inside of 4, but he can't quite get it done. And meanwhile, more side-by-side action further back. Jack Daniels and Lawrence having a bit of a tussle. As we look at position changes, not too many changes up and down the grid. No one making up more than 2 spots or losing more than 2 spots. But Kurt and Robsu so far the biggest winners of the start, with the biggest losers being Scott and Denko. We've got yellow flags. I'm not sure who that was for. Possibly damage further back. Most likely for Cavalis, I would have thought, but nothing visible there. Maybe a battle between Pimenta and Avenir. Yeah, there's damage to Pimenta. There we go. He is missing a front right end plate, unfortunately. But it's Ench who leads. As we cut back to the front, Sumo! Sumo, the championship leader, has spun out of turn 1. It's a disaster for Sumo. He's not got any damage by the looks of things, but how many places has he dropped? He's down to 15th after that mistake, and he will be kicking himself for that one. Such an avoidable error. But that is what has happened, as Rubialski now putting the defending champ under some pressure down towards turn 4. Enchilada Dad stays ahead for now, though, as they head down towards the middle sector. Let's look at tyres. Most of the grid on medium tyres, but Gary, Scott, Denko, Triku all starting on the hards, and Pimenta has pitted onto them now. So we'll see how those strategies pan out. Scott tends to be a major proponent of the alternate strategies so far this season, as looked for a moment like Rubialski had spun round there, but he's absolutely fine. And once again, Scott starting on those hard tyres, as now Rubialski seems to have such good straight line speed here in Austria. He has got a very, very low wing setup by the looks of things, and he should be able to take the lead of this Grand Prix. He looks to the inside of Enchilada, but the Ferrari driver not willing to give it up. The Irishman late on the brakes as they head into turn 3, and Ench keeps the lead, and now Extrek going to be looking to put them under pressure even more so. But Rubialski with the speed down towards turn 4. Enchilada going to let him go this time, I reckon. And there we go, Rubialski down the inside, making that move stick. And he is into the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix in Tier 2. Very clean racing so far. Excellent stuff from Tier 2. It's fantastic to see as Enchilada follows the race leader through the middle sector. But Rubialski seems to have very strong pace at this early stage. Extrek in the meantime trying to put the Ferrari driver under pressure. Engine Extrek, old rivals in Tier 2, I think it's fair to say now. It's been 3 whole seasons of their fierce rivalry in this division. And Extrek hits the back of him. The rivalry continues. Extrek goes straight to the back of Enchiladadad and lets Jacko straight through. JB now trying to put him under pressure as well, as there's some tussles behind between Aces, Jack Daniels and Lawrence, who all pile towards turn 3 side by side, 2 by 2 as they go through the corner. But it's JB who now gets ahead of Extrek as well. What has happened to Extrek? He is on the inside though for turn 4. He should keep the place unless JB can hang it round, but no, he's not willing to do that, and Extrek gets back ahead up to P4, but that was a costly error from Extrek there into turn 1, just tapping the back of Enchiladadad. It cost him so much pace down the straight, so he's down to P4 now. But yeah, that rivalry goes back quite a while now, 3 seasons ago. We had Extrek beating Enchilada to the title by just a few points. And last season we had Enchilada beating Extrek to the title by just 1 point. So that rivalry burns bright and continues again today, as that is Alex G into the pits, and Jack Daniels losing places. Looks like he had a poor run through turn 1. We have Enchilada getting past Rubialski, who's now under pressure from Extrek, looking to make 2 places in one go. He's going to do so by the looks of things, and he is up to P2 briefly, but Rubialski is going to continue fighting him down towards turn 4. They're going to be side by side all the way through. I think Rubialski's going to hold on though. There's no contact, and it's nicely done from those drivers as they head into the middle sector. Extrek is crazy, said Luke Castro. He is absolutely going for it. 2-time champion. You don't get that title for nothing. As now Jack Daniels fighting with Gary. There's damage to the Ferrari newbie, sadly. He's got front left end plate missing. So he is going to be really struggling for the rest of the race with that. So Enchilada heading down towards turn 4. Extrek under pressure from Jackalacco as they head through the corner. JB now under pressure from Aces as well. The 2 Alpines side by side as they head down towards turn 4. Jack Daniels making a move as well. Lawrence getting past Aces for P6 in the meantime as Extrek gets ahead of Rubialski. Alex, leave it for the stewards, mate. I don't care. I'm commentating. But Extrek heads through the middle sector. Jackalacco trying to make a move on Rubialski as well, but he's just going to sit back as Enchilada now with an 0.8 of a second lead, looking to try and build a gap, but it quickly gets reeled straight back in by the Norwegian of Extrek as these top 2, once again, these 2 rivals together in this Grand Prix, and it looks like Extrek is going to take the lead on the run to turn 4 by the looks of things. Lawrence now in the mix as well, as Sumo still hasn't made any progress after that mistake earlier on. He's still stuck down there in 14th. This long DRS train, meaning he can't really do anything towards the back of it. Extrek now to the inside though of one of his championship rivals. They go side by side through. Enchilada has the outside line. Rubialski is going to try and make it 3 wide, but he backs out sensibly as Extrek doesn't have the pace on the run to turn 4, but Rubialski is blocked out of room, and Enchilada now on the outside. He locks the rears through turn 4, but he still gets it turned for the corner, but it looks like Extrek's going to take the lead of this one. Rubialski trying to follow deep into turn 6, and he's going to have to give that one up. So Extrek into the lead of this Grand Prix, but it is still very much all to play for. Robsu now with a time penalty for track limits as Jack Daniels tries to go down the inside into the penultimate corner despite the damage. The newbie is willing to risk it all, and he does it perfectly. Very nicely done from Jack Daniels there, as Rubialski now getting past Ench on the run to turn 1, chops across the Ferrari as they head towards the corner, but no contact as they head through. So now Extrek under pressure from a different car as Jack Alacco looks around the outside of Ench heading towards turn 3. He's going to make this move by the looks of things. Rubialski stays behind and Enchilada has to let Jacko go on this occasion. Here comes JB as well. Enchilada is hemorrhaging positions here at this point in the race. I'm not sure what's happened to the Irishman, but JB's now on the outside. Can he make the move? Rubialski on the inside of Extrek further up as well for the lead, but he can't quite make that stick. And Enchilada stays in P4 as well. JB just living to fight another day there as Jack Daniels and Robsu again side by side. It's the McLaren on the inside of turn 7. There's contact, a bit of wheel banging as they head through the corner. And Scott and Gary side by side just behind as well. Jack Daniels surely not the inside with wing damage at turn 9. Oh my goodness, he's gone for it. Oh my gosh, that must have been a hair's breadth between the two cars. I don't know how they didn't make contact, but they just about get away with it. Aces and JB now side by side as Aces down the inside of turn 1 and makes that move stick as well. So many moves going on up and down the grid at the moment. Alex G unfortunately out of this race, but here comes Lawrence onto the gravel for the two-time champ as he looks to get past JB for P6. Rubialski taking the lead in the meantime as there's more overtakes happening further back. Sumo and Denko battling it out, but Sumo loses out to Kurt in the end as Rubialski does get back into the lead. Jackalacco follows them through. Is there damage to the Aston Martin though? I think there is, yeah. No front right end plate on the Scottish driver's car. So damaged cars starting to pop up more and more now as this DRS train continues. The Ferrari of Jack Daniels now struggling to live with the cars without wing damage further down the grid, but Jack Alacco seems fine for now as they head through the final sector. It's still Rubialski who leads. We're only on lap 9, everyone. Only a quarter of the way through this race. It already feels like it's been a year's worth of racing, but that is Austria for you as we head down to turn 3 for the 10th time in this race. Denko now with a track limits penalty. You'll see plenty more of those today, I am sure, from various drivers as Extrek not willing to go for a move on this occasion. Ace is very deep into turn 3, but not able to hang it around the outside, and JB not able to put him under pressure either. So everyone very well behaved on the run to turn 4 this time, at least in the front cars. Yeah, no moves being made at all into turn 4 on this lap. I think that's the first lap that we haven't had anyone side by side on that straight so far this race. But anyway, Robsu with that time penalty is going to have to deal with, and he loses the rear again through turn 8. He is struggling as the Finn, and it looks like JB's heading for an early pit stop there. He goes very deep into the corner though, and he might have caught Lawrence out there. Is there damage to the Alpine? I think I saw something fly off, but was it an end plate or was it just visual? I'm not sure. He's heading towards turn 1. No, he's gotten it just fine. Alex, stop telling me about incidents, mate. I send it to the stewards. There's too much to concentrate on. Extrek up to P1 now as Rubialski has to defend from Jack Alacco. The season 10 champ with wing damage is still a force to be reckoned with as he heads down towards turn 4. He's on the inside line. Can he get the move done? Are they going to sacrifice time to Extrek doing this? That is the other question. Jack Alacco on the inside. He makes the move stick, does he? Rubialski still with him as they head towards turn 6, but surely Rubialski holds this one out. Jacko's not going to be able to hold it the outside and wing damage, and yeah, indeed, that is what happens. Rubialski stays ahead, and 8.5 tenths to Extrek. He's just about in DRS range, but he's got to be careful here. And actually, Extrek burning some ERS to get out of that DRS range, and Aces making a move on Enchiladad. Meanwhile, into turn 9, Ench is not going to be happy with that, and now Lawrence trying to follow his teammate through. The defending champ has had a horrible few laps, but he's just about held on to P5, and Extrek is now out of DRS range, and I have to think that Rubialski and Jacko are going to sorely regret that battling. It has just gifted a clear race lead to Extrek now, and I struggle to imagine anyone catching him unless there's some drama in terms of a safety car or something. Meanwhile, though, Robsu, Lawrence and Gary all going wheel to wheel. There was definitely some contact there and some hooking of the tyres as they headed through turn 3. Gary on the apex isn't quite able to make a move and has to stick behind. And meanwhile, everyone still in this train except for Extrek, who is flying up the field, or up the track. 1.3 seconds is the gap, and it's come down a little bit with Rubialski using some ERS aces. Is on the move though, another overtake into turn 9. And he gets it done again. Enchilada for an early stop, meanwhile, in his Ferrari. Can he get it stopped? Yes, he can, despite a tyre on the grass. So Rubialski under pressure to stay with Extrek, but Aces is on the move at the moment in that Alpine. He is flying for 2 moves at turn 9 on subsequent laps. And he is up into 3rd place now. Challenging for 2nd for Rubialski. He seems to have so much pace right now in that Alpine. But Enchilada, is he in clean air? Not quite. He's 2 seconds behind JB, who pitted a couple of laps ago. I didn't even notice that. So JB getting a beautiful undercut there. He is a long way clear, and there's contact between Lawrence and Robsu through turn 4. Gary just about avoids the concertina effect, but Lawrence around the outside of turn 6. No, he's not going to hold on to that one. Jack Daniels on the inside of 7 now for another move in this race for the newbie. He gets it done. Lawrence lets him go, and Scott profits off that as well. I think Lawrence is going to head straight into the pits after that. He indeed absolutely is going to do that. So Lawrence straight in as Denko and Kurt follow each other through as well in the background. Meanwhile, Aces on the inside of Rubialski. He makes the move into turn 1. Does he get DRS for turn 3? Let's find out. No, I don't think he did, but neither did Rubialski, so he's going to be under pressure from Jacko, and he's going to have to use ERS to keep that Aston Martin behind, but doesn't manage to put Aces under any pressure in the end. So Extrek with a very comfortable lead thanks to all of this, and Rubialski and Jacko, I have to say, especially Jacko, I'm surprised he sent it for that move with wing damage. All he did was just gift Extrek a 2-second lead, and that is what's happened, and there's more battling here for P2 as Rubialski defending from Aces, who's on the inside of turn 6 now. Another move at this corner. He's made it stick. I think a little bit of wheel banging there as they headed through, but nothing too egregious as Aces into 2nd place. Jack Alacco now having to defend from Robsu. Surely into the pits perhaps for Jacko. Yeah, he bails, and into the pit lane goes the season 10 champ. Someone else into the pits as well. That is Aces for an early stop, trying to get an undercut on Extrek. Jack Daniels follows them in as well. Is there going to be a wing change for Jacko? That's the interesting thing for me. Same for Jack Daniels. I see a front wing for the Ferrari, but Jacko doesn't change his. He's just going to send it with a lack of front end plate. Enchilada sets the fastest lap. That's intimidating for the drivers ahead. Where's JB? Only 1.1 ahead of him now. Ench is hunting him down, and that undercut might well work very, very strongly in his favour. I think Extrek's going to be in trouble here when he does pit, but meanwhile, Robsu on the inside of Rubialski. It's another car that Rubialski has to defend himself from in this race. He again prevails, but he is really on the defensive for these first 15 laps at the moment. Scott in the midst as well, but Extrek 3.5 clear. I think these guys are well out of range for the race victory now. Especially Rubialski and Robsu, who started on the mediums too. As Rubialski into the pits he goes. Robsu stays out. Extrek also in, responding to the undercut, but I think it's too late. He's going to lose out, I reckon, to JB and Ench, who are heading through the last couple corners now. Ench is going to have the DRS as well down to turn 3. I think he'll get the McLaren, and I think he'll get Extrek as well. Where is the Mercedes? He's coming out the pits now on the mini-map, but I can't see him on the camera. Here comes JB through turn 1. Extrek is nowhere to be seen. He's not even in the background there. He comes out the pits, but he's so far behind, and this undercut has worked absolutely beautifully for these drivers. Enchilada now into P7 ahead of JB, but that is a net P1, everyone. as Gary now leads this race after getting past Robsu. Meanwhile, while we weren't watching, Scott in the background as well, but these hard tyre runners are going to go a little further than this before they pit the mediums, I would have thought. And they're going to have to hope those mediums have a ton of pace, because otherwise they're going to be well down after these undercuts. As here we go, that is Robsu now into the pits, and Cavalis next up also in. So that's the last of the drivers to start on mediums into the pit lane. And through they go. Triku Bidayak also being mentioned in the chat by Lucas Rowe, and he is now only 1.2 behind Gary and Scott. So I don't think he's in contention for a podium, but certainly perhaps top 6 or top 7, something like that, after his dismal qualifying. Scott now into the lead of the race into turn 3, gets that move done on Gary as it's another fastest lap for the Irishman. Enchiladadad. They are 2.5 seconds ahead of Extrek, who I'm sure is going to do everything he can to hunt them down. But it's an uphill struggle for the two-time champ at the moment, thanks to that undercut. He is going to have better tyres towards the end, but how much better is the question? Is it going to matter? Aces, meanwhile, 2.5 behind the Mercedes as there's contact behind. That is Lawrence into the back of Sumo, and getting damage as well is Lawrence. He is going to be absolutely he's going to be absolutely gutted with that, getting damage by hitting the back of Sumo on his second stint. He's not going to be able to live that one down. Sumo gets away with it, thankfully, but he is a long way down in this race as well. He's only with aces, and he has a track limits penalty. So after that early mistake at turn 1 in the opening few laps, he is paying the price for that, and he's going to have to work very hard for a good result today. Meanwhile, JB on the back of Enchilada, looking to the inside, but backs well out of that before turn 3. Not willing to send it there, as that's going to allow Extrek to catch up a little bit, but still over 2.5 behind, as Robsu and Jacko now battling for P12. Jacko all the way down there in 13th after that pit stop. I'm not quite sure how that's happened. It might just be the wing damage. Maybe he's going to regret not changing it, but maybe it's biting now that he's on the hards. But, well, the facts don't lie. He is down in 13th. It is a net 9th, I believe, but it's still a lot lower than he was earlier on, battling for the lead. Meanwhile, the top 4 still on those hards, still not coming in. But Enchilada's only 2.5 seconds behind. When did this happen? He's only 2 seconds behind Denko, who's only 4 seconds himself behind the top 3. Enchilada is flying, and he's dragging JB with him as well, who's in a great position here. Extrek also in a good place for another podium today, but he's going to have to work very hard, even on the better tyres, to catch up to those two who are just exchanging DRS perfectly cordially. Meanwhile, the Ferrari newbie of Jack Daniels getting himself a track limits penalty as well, as Gary now takes the lead of the race around the outside of Scott, but Scott back at him as they head down towards, or up towards turn 6. A bit of a slide from Gary through the corner as he puts 2 wheels on the curb, and Scott gets back ahead. Triku in the mix as well, right behind them. But surely some of them are going to come in soon. There goes Scott, by the looks of things, into the pit lane. Gary gives him the room. Very nicely done. Is that Triku in as well? No. The Czech driver staying out, as Denko also staying out. So only Scott in at this point for those mediums. And he's also, of course, going to head to the end on them. 17 laps to go in this thrilling Austrian Grand Prix, and Enchiladadad has made a move past Denko already. He was 2 seconds behind a lap ago, and look at him now. He is ahead of the Mercedes, but Denko's going to try and hold up the Ferrari driver for his teammate here. He doesn't send it to the inside of turn 3. He is going to have the DRS again towards the next corner. I don't think he's got enough in the tank to really fight for it, but Enchilada hasn't got a lot either. Denko's going to do a brilliant job job here for his Mercedes teammate. He's going to send it down the inside. Enchilada sweeps around the outside, but he's cost them so much time as Denko. And JB is in the mix as well, but he's not able to make a move. Denko round the outside, but no, he's not going to be able to hang it there with the 19-lap-old hards. But the job is done, and Extract now, I think, is going to be in this battle because he's going to get the DRS from his teammate up to turn 1, and he's going to be right behind and ready to pounce for any mistake from Ench and JB as Triku is into the pits. Meanwhile, Gary stays out for one more lap. Enchilada only two and a half behind him. As Denko duly lets his teammate pass, lets Extract get the DRS as well. And Extract very wide through turn 1 to try and get the best exit possible. It's worked perfectly. He's got no ERS left whatsoever, but it doesn't matter. He's in the DRS. He's got the pace to stay with them. And Extract now in prime position to perhaps take this race win away with those better tyres towards the end. Denko, what a great team play from the other Mercedes from Greece. Aces, meanwhile, on the outside of Rubialski, but too far around the outside, way too far from Aces. Goes all the way into the gravel and massively loses out. He's well over 2 seconds behind Rubialski now. That's another place for him, but he does still have that penalty to contend with. He's got to try and stay with this V-Carb driver. Gary, meanwhile, into the pits, the last one to come in. Denko as well, of course, into the pits after doing that teammate duty as Extract sticking behind JB, who's lost out to Ench, by the way. 1.5 seconds is the gap, but surely Extract will close that straight back down with the DRS now towards turn 1. He gets easily past JB, the McLaren driver not willing to fight on this occasion, and trying just to get the best exit possible to stay with him, but those hard tyres are going to be so much worse. He's got so much less grip than the Mercedes, and Extract now just 1.1 behind Enches. Neither of them have got anything left for ERS, and it looks like perhaps we are going to get a duel for the ages. The two biggest rivals in APP over the last 3 seasons are going to duke it out for this race lead, perhaps. It's still just over a second, the gap, though. Extract needs to work a little bit harder. He's saved some ERS, but so has Ench, and he's just out of range, perhaps. Through turn 9 they go. Can he get it? I think he got it. He got it. He got the DRS. So Extract in range now, and we are going to get this duel between rivals. Enchilada on 3 laps older tyres, but what a job that Denko did there. He sacrificed his own race for it. He's down to 15th, but there's still chances for him in this race, especially if we get a safety car or something of that nature. But he is now admittedly quite a way behind the rest. I don't know why it's saying 2.9. He's a long way behind Gary. Yeah, there we go, 11 seconds. That's more like it. So, yeah, Denko's race well and truly over unless we get a safety car, but the job has been done for his teammate. There's now Enchilada under heavy pressure. He's got to save ERS now. Instead of using it, there's no point. Extract is there. He's bridged the gap. He's got the DRS, that's what matters. JB struggling as well to stay with them. He's just about there, but for how long is he going to be able to stay there? I think he'll be happy with a podium from this one, but Rubialski's not far behind, so he does have to look behind him too, does JB. 3 seconds is the gap, and with 6 laps older tyres, it's going to be a struggle for the McLaren. Meanwhile, here comes Extract. He's got the DRS. Ench using overtake again, but now not using it as they head towards 3. He doesn't want to waste it now. He knows Extract's tricks. He knows how good this driver is at making the driver ahead make ERS mistakes and just saving it all up for the last couple of laps and making his move right when it counts. Enchilada knows that. He knows the tricks that Extract has up his sleeve, and he won't be wanting to allow that to happen. But all this ERS saving is going to allow JB to get closer again as well, so he'll be happy with this current arrangement too. But we do have a clear top 3 in this race now. Sumo has clawed his way back into the top 5, and that is game over for JB in terms of the race win, certainly, and I think in terms of podium as well, because those older tyres are not going to serve him well in these last few laps, and Rubialski is going to catch all the way up. Sumo has a penalty himself, so he's not going to be able to do anything unless they catch all the way up to JB, which is still very much possible. And Sumo smells blood here after that penalty for the McLaren. He goes down the inside of Rubialski. He's up to P4. Aces as well, further back, up to 6th place, past the McLaren of Robsu. So a good move for Aces there, as they all head through the middle sector. I'm not quite sure what's happened to Lawrence in this race, as Sumo gets repassed by Rubialski on the run to turn 4, though. And well, usual Tier 1 driver now up into 4th place. But it is a net P3 after JB's penalties. Enchilada, though, still holding on. And there's still a long way to go in this race. Still 11.5 laps to go. And it is far from over in this one, and all this ERS saving could allow Rubialski to catch up too, and perhaps put them under even more pressure. But at the moment, it is definitely a duel between Ench and Extrek. Here comes Extrek now. He's got the DRS. He's willing to go for it this time. He pulls to the inside of the Irishman, and Extrek retakes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. Sumo, meanwhile, repasses Rubialski for P4, but Enchilada has the DRS down to 4. He's not close enough, though. He's actually saving ERS. He doesn't want to make a move. He wants to make Extrek waste some of his battery. And, well, Extrek still has plenty left, so it hasn't quite worked. But as long as the Ferrari manages to stay with him, he will be fine. But he does have 3 laps older tyres out of those two. And JB, another 2 laps older than that. But Sumo now into P4, and Rubialski well out of range of JB now. So it's not over for JB in terms of the podium. There's still very much some battles going on here. Aces is in a net P5 thanks to Sumo's penalty. But can he hold on to it is the question. He is going to be able to exchange DRS with Robsu quite a few times, as that's Jack Daniels into the wall. Is that a safety car? It is! It's a safety car late in this race. Well, late-ish. Jack Daniels into the wall on the exit of the final corner. And the newbies race ends in frustration, I am sure, after that damage early on as well. But we have a safety car to neutralize this race. It's terrible news for JB and Sumo in particular, but also Robsu and Kurt M97, who all have penalties. Denko is back in this race too. Lawrence goes on to the softs. Denko chooses the mediums. So we'll see what the front runners choose when they come in. They've got no choice. They've got to come in. There's no way they can stay out here. So mediums or softs is the order of the day. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I think medium's probably the better choice on balance, but softs you could manage to make it work. We shall see. Extrek in, Ench in, JB in, all unsurprising. Should really be everyone into the pits here. As, yeah, Aces also comes in. Kurt, yeah, he's going in as well. So, looks like everyone in here. Extrek goes for the mediums. Enchilada goes for the soft tyres. Enchilada dads, he has gone aggressive here at this late stage. Soft tyres for the Ferrari. Sumo onto the mediums. Most drivers going for mediums here. Gary now into the lead because he's stayed out on those medium tyres. So Gary leads this race. Not even, you know, it's not a net lead. This is the lead of the race. We do have a safety car. Everyone else has pitted. Gary has taken the chance and stayed out. Maybe it could work, but 6 laps old medium tyres compared to everyone else's fresh mediums or softs. That's really going to be difficult for the Sauber driver. He's got Extrek right behind him as well. One of the main drivers you do not want to be behind you in this tier. But wow, what a turn up for the books. I think this is our first safety car of the season, if I'm not mistaken. So Interesting times in this Tier 2 race. Unfortunate for Jack Daniels. I do feel for him. He still manages to easily win username of the season so far. But unfortunately, it's not going to be race of the season for him today. So the safety car neutralizing everything. We're going to get around about 7 or 8 laps of green flag racing once this safety car peels into the pit lane. But it is Gary who's gonna lead on those old medium tires. What a scenario he has put himself in here. Let's have a quick look at penalties. It's 3 seconds across the board, except for Pimenta, who's on 15 seconds in the Red Bull. So keep that in mind. If we get any more penalties, I will reopen that menu. But Enchilada Dad on the soft tyres, Robsu on the soft tyres, Cavalis, Lawrence, Pimenta and Avenir also going for the softs. Everyone else on the mediums. And these softs are not going to last long, but for the time they do last, they are going to be mighty quick. So that's what Enchilada is hoping for. He will be hoping to build a gap, get past Extrac early and try and build a gap. And of course, get past Gary as well. The anticipation, indeed. So much anticipation in the chat. But Gary has got a lot of work to do here. The safety car should be in this lap, and we will get racing once again for the last 6 laps of this Grand Prix. Fascinating Austrian Grand Prix it has been. Here we go, safety car in this lap. Gary's going to lead us off. It's his second time leading a safety car restart. He got a warning for the last time he led a safety car restart for sort of accelerating and then braking, just because he's never led a safety car restart before in a league race. But hopefully he's learned his lesson now and he knows what to do. A pivotal moment in this Grand Prix, this. Here we go then, Gary through the last corner, he's gone already. He's tried to catch Extrac off guard and it looks like he has done. It's a great restart from the Sauber driver, but Extrac is right at him straight away down towards turn 1. He's not close enough to make a move, he has to tuck in behind. Enchilada's been well caught out by that restart. He was 7 tenths down on his rival as Extrek now pulls to the inside and is going to take the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix into turn 3 on lap 31. Enchilada going to try and follow through as soon as he can. Surely down towards turn 4, he's going to make the move. Sumer and Rubialski side by side through the corner as well. Further back, it's another penalty for Scott as well, down in 13th. Not ideal for him as Rubialski sweeps around the outside of Sumer. There's contact, more contact as they go through. Rubialski losing the rear. But they both live to fight another day as Enchilada does get past the Sauber of Gary and is now up to second place right behind Extrek. But how long are those soft tyres going to last? That's the question. Sumo in the mix as well, but with that time penalty, it's going to cost him so dearly, you would think. Aces in the background, he's not got a penalty. Jacko as well. Triku could gain a few places here thanks to the penalties as well ahead. DRS enabled now, and Enchilada's going to have it down to turn 3. A huge moment this could be in this race. Enchilada, who looked at one point like he was going to run away with this race like he did last week, is now trying to take back the lead from his main rival in Tier 2. Down the inside he goes. Extrek sweeps around the outside though. Enchilada doesn't get the exit he wanted. And now JB's right there too after getting past Gary himself. Enchilada though is going to on the inside of turn 4. He goes for it on the brakes. Extrek brakes late as well. He sweeps around the outside for the second time in a row. Of the Ferrari driver heading into the latter part of lap 32. Aces getting past Rob Su. It's carnage further back, nearly 3 wide into turn 6 as Jacko on the inside of Sumo for the next corner. Sumo surviving that onslaught, but he's down to 8th place as Aces is up into the top 6, but 1.2 to the top 5 now. He's out of DRS range and he's going to be under heavy pressure from cars behind. It's surely game over for him for the top positions, but now it's Extrek again under pressure. Enchilada and JB both behind. They've both got enough ERS, but it's a poor exit out of turn 1 for Ench, and JB has taken advantage. He's up to P2. Enchilada dad may be regretting the soft tyres. They could be starting to go already, but he sends it around the outside of JB for turn 3. Looks to get the better exit and does. What a move for the Irishman. JB will try to hold it there, but there's no way through, and Ench looks to make it 2 in 1. He goes round the outside of Extrek this time, and he takes the lead back of the Austrian Grand Prix. What a move from Enchilada dad. There's just 3 laps to go at the end of this one. Scott is all the way into the gravel. I don't know what happened to him, but he's down to 15th now as Ench continues to lead the way. We've got these top 5 all right together, but Rubialski and JB both with penalties, so Aces might well get himself into 4th place after all is said and done, and Jackalacco as well. Triku looking to gain quite a few places too further back, but it's all about these top 2. Gary's there as well in case anything goes wrong. JB, if anything goes horribly wrong, will retake the lead even with the 3 seconds, but that penalty is going to cost him a podium here, I think. Here they go now for the 34th time down towards turn 3. Extrek on the inside, Enchilada on the outside. We've seen this before plenty of times today, but Extrek breaks late and gets the move done. It's a beautiful overtake from the Norwegian as Aces is round. Oh no, he's all the way down to 11th. There's wheel banging ahead between Kurt and Sumo, who's down to P10 now. It's the championship leader. Enchilada now down to P4. What's happened to the Ferrari driver? I'm not sure. It looked like he maybe put a wheel in the gravel, but it's now Extrek's race to lose as JB and Rubialski both with penalties. Enchilada too far behind as they head towards the last few corners. Just 2 laps to go at the end of this one. It's still up for grabs for Enchilada, but those tyres are going to get worse and worse for these last couple of laps. Gary's right behind him as well, smelling blood. He senses his first APPF1 podium after staying out. It's a risky decision, very risky decision to stay out on those mediums, but it looks like it might have paid dividends as now JB puts the race leader under pressure and he takes the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix for the first time today. Jackalacco gets past the other McLaren As Rubialski now looks to put Extrac under pressure as well. He's using that overtake button, but he's too far behind. And so is Enchiladadad with those fading soft tyres in these latter stages. He just doesn't have the grip of the cars ahead. I think he's going to regret that decision for that tyre choice at the pit lane. Aces and Sumo side by side, and Aces gets his way through meanwhile. But Extrac now is in a perfect position. Ench is way too far behind. Those soft tyres are gone in these latter few laps. He should have put the mediums on. I said the mediums were probably going to be better. I've been proved correct. But it's still not over as Scott loses it again. He's down into last place. He's not going to get any points at all from this race by the looks of things. What a disaster for him after it was looking promising earlier. And it's starting to be a theme really with Scott, sadly, as Extrac now to the inside of JB. Rubialski looks to make the move as well. That is for position. They both have 3-second penalties, and Rubialski gets his way through. It's a lovely move from the V-Carb driver. Someone's losing a ton of positions. I think that was Kurt in the other V-Carb, but Rubialski can't put Extrac under pressure. We're on the final lap. Extrac just has a few corners left to navigate. Sumo and Aces are side by side. Aces is ghosted in the meantime. I don't know what's happened to him, but it's Extrac. Just a couple of corners to go for the two-time champion to take the lead of the championship after a hard fought race win here in Austria. 2 corners to go. Extrac, just 1 to go for the race leader, and it's going to be Extrac who wins the Austrian Grand Prix. Enchilada's going to take home 2nd place, and Gary, his first APPF1 podium. What a result for him. The penalties are sending everyone down the grid. Rubialski P4, Jack Alacco in the top 5, JB down to 6th after his penalty. And we'll come to the rest of the results once they come up. Wow, what a hectic conclusion to this Grand Prix. Enchilada, I think, will be ruining his decision to go onto the soft tyres. Gary masterclass, absolutely, says Gomogoniwi in the chat. What a drive from Gary. Perfect decision to stay out. It paid off so well. But it's Extrac who wins, and Gary with the fastest lap as well. With Enchilada P2. These two, I think, are going to have many battles like this season. Gary finishes in 3rd place with the fastest lap, his first ever podium in APPF1. Many congratulations to him. Of course, pre-stewards, but I didn't see him do anything wrong myself. Rubialski finishes 4th in his first Tier 2 race with Jack Alacco in the top 5. Then it's JB. Aces finishes 7th, profiting off everyone else's penalties, as does Triku, who gets into the top 8. Kurt in 9th, Lawrence in the top 10, Denko at P11 in the end with Robsu Cavalis. Sumo, the championship leader, only getting 2 points from this race. From 4th on the grid, and he's going to be a long way behind Extrac in the title fight now. Avenir down in 15th. He gets the last point with Pimenta, and Scott the last of the finishers. Jack Daniels and Alex G unable to finish. So, we are going to have interviews with the top 3 in theory. So stay tuned. Well, I say the top 3. It'll be Gary and Ench, because Extrac writes his little summary instead of joining the interview room. So bear with. We're going to have a quick set of interviews. Just waiting for the podium finishers to join the interview room. We have Ench just waiting to see if Gary can join us, and then we'll get started. Oh well, in the meantime, Xtrack has already written his summary. I really feel like he pre-writes these, but anyway. Xtrack says, it was a really tough race. I agree with that. It didn't manage to get pole position in qualifying, but I stuck it behind the Ferrari. Wanted to lose as little time as possible fighting and just stay with the front runners, planning to overtake in the final stages of the race. Like I said, it's always his plan. I managed to do that, although the safety car made it a bit more difficult. Didn't have any softs left, so I had to go with mediums, but that turned out to be a really good decision. Oh, if he'd had a set of softs, he would have gone... he would have made the wrong decision as well. Ferrari was really strong, but Austria is one of my favourite tracks. 2 seasons ago, I won my second championship on this circuit, and today I win the race. Very thankful to my teammate. He made the fight for the win a lot easier for me. He did an amazing job, and I really appreciate it. Yeah, very magnanimous from Xtrack. Absolutely, Denko played a critical role in that race for the lead. But... congratulations to him for the race win. I don't think we're going to get Gary. He doesn't seem to be joining or responding to anything, so I'll just head straight on with our P2 finisher, Enchilada Dad. Congratulations, Ench. Another podium for you. I don't know where the championship standings are going to shake out after this, but you're not going to be too far behind, and a strong result, but you must be disappointed with that decision to put the softs on at the end.
A little bit, yeah. Just not because I lost, but just because I don't know what would have happened if I went on mediums. I thought that just because there's so many cars on track that the safety car would stay out longer than expected, and it did, but it still wasn't enough. Like, it was still into like 40% on the tires.
40%.
I didn't realize it was going to be.
Wow.
Yeah, well, they was used from qualifying, but I didn't think they're going to be that bad.
Yeah. Oh, well, nonetheless, a strong P2 finish. It's starting to become a little bit, well, I say a little bit, actually quite a major sort of dual rivalry, you and Xtrack, over the last 3 seasons, and it looks like including this one. He beat you to the title by just a few points 3 seasons ago. You beat him to the title by 1 point last season, and today, right close together for almost the entire race, battling it out. You know, this rivalry just seems to be getting better and better. Do you think it's going to heat up to boiling point this season?
Hopefully not. I don't want to consider championship battles until after Monaco happens, and I'll see how things stand. Because I could easily get a fat 0 there.
Yeah, Xtrack was very scared of Monaco as well. He's been talking about it for weeks.
Well, how about we just agree to vote like DNF?
Yeah, I mean, feel free to get in his DMs, mate, and ask him.
Maybe.
But yeah, I mean, regardless, it is indeed, like you say, Monaco next week. But I mean, you kind of answered my question for me. But how are you feeling for it? Have you done much practice yet, or is it all gonna be this week? Getting some practice in time trial and other sort of solo races in.
Just this week, I haven't done anything yet. But the annoying thing is I'll be home next week, so I'll be back on like a different setup and stuff. So it's gonna feel weird getting used to. It shouldn't matter too much, but that's my excuse for when I DNF.
Noted. I'll write that down. Well, congratulations again. Very best of luck for Monaco. That goes to all our drivers for next week. It's going to be a barnstormer. I love Monaco. I know I'm the minority in that, but it's going to be a great race. We've got to have it once a year, and next week is going to be the day. So best of luck for that, Ench, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
So there we have it. Doesn't look like Gary has joined us, so we are going to end stream there. Thank you all so much for watching. It has been an absolute pleasure to commentate today, and I hope you enjoyed the race as well. Have a lovely rest of your week, and next week, like we said, we are heading to Monaco. So do not miss it. If you think that Monaco is going to be a boring race in APP Tier 2, think again. How about you join us and find out next week? But thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day to you too, Waff Cake, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.